So further to the video I just did about beliefs and freedom of belief is that I know I heard one time someone give a talk that said, well, let's just explore two sides of the risk management, I suppose, of believing one way or the other, either for the need of salvation or the need, not the need of it. And so his premise was, well, if you choose to believe that you need salvation, and you're correct, then wow, was a good decision. On the other hand, if you choose to believe that you don't need salvation and you're wrong, then that's a big whoops, as he called it. And so, hey, play the odds and go for salvation. And I guess that would be, at the time, kind of a persuasive argument. But now, when I look at that argument, I think, well, there actually is a lot more downside to that. Because the downside is that in order for me to go in the direction of needing salvation, first of all, I have to adhere to the concept that I'm sinful, that I'm bad and wrong, and in need of salvation. And so it requires that I live my whole life experience with that belief system in place. And I guess that's one of my fundamental reasons for not doing it, is because that I do not believe any longer that I'm bad and wrong. I believe that I'm actually part of divinity. I'm a divine being, part of the whole, here expanding all of what is, for the pleasure of all that is, for the expansion of the universe, and for the pleasure of the universe, of the non-physical. That at my core, I'm beautiful, divine, full of love. And I choose to live my life with that belief system. It is much more uplifting. It is much more freeing. And I do not wish to go through any longer in my life with the belief system that I'm bad, wrong, sinful, in need of salvation. And if you don't get it right, you're going to go to hell. And if your friends don't get it right, they're going to go to hell too. And so, it's interesting, all the little workarounds that I've heard created. One recently, the other week, where I said to someone, well, we're having a conversation. Obviously, they had a different belief than I did, and they said that, if you don't believe the way I do, then you're going to go to hell. And I said, well, I don't believe that true anymore. And so I just said, okay, well, have you ever met people, maybe your friends, coworkers, other people who are not of the same belief system that you are, but beautiful people who contribute to our society in wonderful, beautiful ways, and you're of the belief that they're going to go to hell because they don't adopt your belief system? And they said, yeah. And I said, well, what about the people that are in your church that are, when you look at them, are much less contributing good to society than your friend who isn't? And they said, well, but they made a good decision. I said, well, I just have a hard time believing that someone who is sinful, deceitfully bad to the core, can do so many good things out of love, and even more than other people do, and that they're going to go to hell. And their response was, well, you never know what happens in their unconscious state as they pass from this life. They go through an unconscious state for a couple minutes where God visits them, and all of a sudden they see the light, and in a non-conscious state make a decision to get things sorted out, the 11th hour, if you will, and all's good. You just never know what happened. I just thought, oh man, these kinds of explanations, they really piss me off. And on the other side, if they're correct, then why are we worried about it? That we go through our life in a much more free way, knowing that in the 11th hour it'll all be made right anyway. So why are we so freaking concerned about it while we're here on Earth? So that's the big reason for me, is our journey here on Earth is not about just arriving someplace safe and sound out of the fire. It's about expansion. It's about love. It's about joy. It's actually what I call heaven on earth right now. This is hell if you want it to be. It is heaven if you want it to be. And so, yeah, that feels a little bit more strong and more from what I truly believe in my heart than what I said earlier. So I'm going to go with that for now, see what happens next.